Hello everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyaye sifunde iy'ncwadi ey'bhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese siza la sokhuluma ngazo le ncwadi esuke siy'fundile. Senzela laba phela abasuke bengenazo isikhathi ukuthi bayifunde iy'ncwadi nalaba abanqenayo nje ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama-reality shows ethu la eMzansi bese siza la sizokhuluma ngawo lama shows, senza ama-reviews or ama-recaps. Siphinde futhi sikhulume any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama shows sesiwabukile kwi-TV. Listen, when it comes to Igumbi Lamakhosikazi, guys, I decided because I'm no longer going to review the show because vele into eyodwa vele, it's just the three wives talking about a certain topic, and it was like my reviews were becoming the same all the time. But I've been seeing online because people are making comments about how the show is going. Khona abantu abathi show is really boring now. Abantu, they were saying ukuthi uMakhumalo speaks a lot. Ulokhuza uphuca abantu amazwi emlonyeni like bathi besakhuluma, and then she speaks more than others. She needs to give others a chance. And I thought, because let me go and watch last week's episode because I didn't watch it on Monday, and see what are people really talking about. Am I going to feel the same about the show after watching it? Honestly, I didn't feel like the show was boring necessarily, but mina into engidisappointile mina nge-show that also made me to stop reviewing it was that it wasn't what I expected it to be. It wasn't what I expected it to be, but I felt like they were still making a certain contribution. I felt like there were people that they could still help with that show. It just wasn't doing what I thought it was going to do when they introduced the idea of the show. Here's the thing, guys. There's other talk shows that talk about women issues. Um, Relationship issues, sex in relationships, money in relationships. There's other shows that talk about those things. The only thing that was going to make this show really unique was the fact that it's being done by people abasesithenjini. So I thought a lot of the things that they're going to talk about on this show, they will relate it to uh, them being esithenjini, and I thought they're going to help more people abasesithenjini, abantu abafuna ukungena esithenjini, abantu abaphumayo esithenjini, abantu abasesithenjini. But it just like it's nothing like that. They don't actually talk about it stable. When they said they were going to talk about sex and relationships, I thought they were going to talk about how sexual relations work with Moses Tenjin. They didn't do that. When they were going to talk about finances, because this week they were talking about finances, I thought they're going to talk about how finances work for them, Moses Tenjin. Because remember, Kona Baba Mseleko, and then there's the wives, he works, and the wives work as well, and they have businesses. How do they share their finances and all of that and advise other women who are in the same situation? But that show doesn't do that. So I felt like, okay, for me, it was a disappointment, but I felt like maybe other people understood that's not what the show was going to do anyway. So people will continue watching it for that reason. For me, that was a disappointment because then why are you just having a talk that anybody else will have? There must be something that is unique about your show for me to come and watch your show. And yeah, but yeah, there was a disappointment for me when I realized because these people are not going to talk about their own lives. They're not going to talk about, even when they advise people, they're not going to relate it to their own lives. It's like they're in a pedestal, but not advising about, you know. And I always feel like I relate better if who's on advice. If I'm going through something and who's on advice, I relate better to you saying, "Listen, Tando, this is what I went through, Mina, and this is what I did." You know, I feel like I can relate better. I can take advice, kanjalo. Even when it comes to motivational speakers, I like to know about a life of a motivational speaker for me to relate to what they deliver. Because I'm a motivational speaker, sometimes can make it sound so easy, you know. Sometimes it's hard to wake up in the morning, but we wanna know what's in umuntu. Sometimes it's hard for them to wake up in the morning and know what's in how do they deal with it. So if someone doesn't talk about how they deal with real stuff, sometimes it's hard to relate to them. And that was an issue that I had with this particular show. I also had an issue with the fact that mangabe bethatha ama-problems, angithi bafike bakhulume nge-issue and then they would read one letter from the viewer, and then I would feel like they don't focus on helping the person. They just use your problem as a case study. bayayicubungula nje bayicubungule bayicubungule bashiye kanjalo, and then they don't advise you on what to do. So I just felt like it does none of the things that I thought the show was going to do for me. That's why I stopped watching the show. So okay, I just watched, now I watched the episode. In fact, I will link it below, but guys, if you go to their channel, the episode is there. So I watched it, and as usual, it looks beautiful. The set looks beautiful. The women look beautiful. Makeup perfect. You know that. And one thing I like about this show is how Uma Cele is just not what she is on Uthando Nesithembu. Uma Cele on Uthando Nesithembu, a lot of the times uhlinile nje, you don't know or understand. I like how happy she is, honestly, on this show, because we see the other side. Uma yena, I think I'm starting to think ukuthi out of all the wives, she's the most real. Uma yena uyinto eyodwa laphayana nalana, if ediniwe udiniwe, if happy uhappy, you know, she expresses what she feels every time. I'm still not happy to stand sithandwa sami mangabe akekho, but anyway. And then there's Umakhumalo. Obviously, Umakhumalo, I expected ukuthi she's gonna do a little bit more because she's used to talking publicly, she's used to being on radio, offering advice and all of that stuff. And yeah, when I watched this past episode, I did see what people are talking about, which has been existing since the beginning of the show. Uma Khumalo seems to talk a little bit more than the others. Maybe they should have just given her the role of being the one that runs the show. Um, I don't know, guys. She does speak more than the others, and it's like her points are heard more than the others, and sometimes she struggles to wait until abanye they make their point. Uma yena nje, for an example, uma yena takes time mayizokhuluma, and akatatazeli, and angeke aze akungene emlonyeni futhi. So she's somebody that discuss something with her, you have to be conscious of, okay, let me give her a chance to talk because she has valuable things to say too. So let me give her a chance to talk. Okay, let me keep quiet, you know. And I think that's one thing that Makumalo is not able to do, because maybe I haven't listened to a show on Vuma FM. Maybe she does the show alone on Vuma FM, so she's used to just talking and talking and talking, and angalinda abanye abantu ukuthi bakhulume ngoba mhlawumbe uyena orana i-show on Vuma FM. It is a possibility. So sometimes it's hard for them to make their points. But because now, but they have strong personalities, they do fight a little bit, especially Machele does fight, not in a rude way, but she does fight to say something. And then during those times when she's fighting to say something and Nomakumalo is fighting to say something, kuvele kube ngathi manje, they are speaking over each other. Obviously, because nalo uzamkhuluma nalo uzamkhuluma, because noma cela uzama ukwenza ipoint yakhe nalo uzama ukwenza ipoint yakhe, then it doesn't work for the show. I think honestly, guys, it's their first season, and we have to give them a chance. But I'm disappointed at the producers and the editors, because honestly, if the directors, is it the director that's supposed to do that? It's something that they're supposed to have picked up nabo. So Pela, they don't work alone. So nabo labantu abasebenza nabo, they're supposed to have picked it up and sit them down. Guys, the show is really going well, but these are the things that we need to work on. And I think it's important also for the crew to be reading people's comments so they know this is how the viewers feel. So they can go back and say to them, listen, in the next episode, these are the things that we need to work on, because this is what people are saying. That's why we have social media, so that we can give feedback when we watch these shows. But if they're not going to watch any of these videos that we do, they're not going to go on Twitter and see how people are responding, and they're not going to know that people are not really liking the show because of what they're doing. I really think the people that the reason people say that the show is boring is the reason that people really expected them to talk more about the issues that happen in Stenjin, and they're not doing that. And so it's not meeting the expectations as a band. And guys, like I said, when it comes to Makumalo on Real Housewives of Devon, it really just mawubuka i-Real Housewives of Devon and ubuka Igumbi Lamakhosikazi, ivele kushoke. Especially abantu abangawubukanga uthando nesithembu, I'm sure baba shocked ukuthi hayibo, is this Makumalo? Because abantu abawu-two abahlukene. So ukubuka Igumbi Lamakhosikazi really makes you feel like Umakhumalo on Real Housewives of Durban is not being herself. She is talkative on this show. She's a leader on this show. She's the one that has a lot to say on this show. She's not waiting for nobody. She's not sitting in the corner and listening to other people talk. And yeah, that's why I said ukuthi mina, I think ukuthi really she should just do Uthando Nesithembu and then come and do Igumbi Lamakhosikazi. Am I going to watch more of the show? I think honestly, after doing this review, maybe I will watch next week's episode because I would just want to see if the producers of the show are watching what the viewers' response is, and if they're changing anything. I don't think that they shot it base baqeda ngayo, and then they come back and they showed us the episode, because if they did that, then they wouldn't be able to change anything for the season. I really think ukuthi they are shooting as they go. So if they are shooting as they go, then they should be able to change some things. It would be disappointing if it's the same until the end of the season, because then it's like, why would you not just read the comments that people are saying and just change a few things that people want, so that people can continue watching the show and maybe possibly you can get the next season of the show. But that is my review, guys, for this season. Do I think that they should do the next season? Absolutely, I think they should do the next season if they are willing to change a few things when it comes to this show. I think that they should do the Lokuza this show. I think that really, honestly, it would be great if they can get a different guest on the show instead of just having is it Ubab Ndabe, instead of just getting Ubab Ndabe kuphela. I really want to hear from more women than Loa Baba Loana, but again, we'll have to see. Honestly, when I feel like I miss Umakumalo, I'm going to go watch. After watching in Real Housewives, I'm always gonna go watch Igumbi Lamakhosikazi, because after watching her, I'm like, hey, but where's Makumalo? And then I'm gonna go watch Igumbi Lamakhosikazi to remember how Makumalo how Makumalo is like. But yeah, I mean, guys, it's their first show, so part of it we do have to forgive them because they are learning as well. But hey, viewers can be unforgiving. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. And don't forget to like it. Nginithanda kakhulu.